To continue finding ways to innovate and experiment the content, long-form news returns. That means multiple stories in the one video, condensed to their most important moments, and informing you on more of what's going on. If you like this, let me know down below in the comments. Off the back of a significant order from Ryanair just last week, Boeing posted their April orders and deliveries, offering us an insight into how the first month of the second quarter went. For Boeing, it was relatively bleak, as they saw deliveries slip considerably to only 26 units. This comes off the back of another flaw in one of their aircraft types, that being the 737 MAX, preventing the series from being delivered as maybe the company would have envisaged. Per Boeing's orders and deliveries sheets, the plane maker delivered 4 737 MAXs to Ryanair, 4 737 MAXs to Southwest, and a pair to United, Alaska, and the Air Lease Corporation, with all other deliveries to customers being just of the one lone unit. In March, just for some comparison, Boeing delivered a staggering 64 aircraft. Therefore, following the posting of April's results, the American plane maker rounds off the year with 156 units thus far, as of the final day of April, with Southwest, Ryanair, and United being their most important if you take a look at the amount of units delivered. Airbus also announced their April orders and deliveries, and as I'm sure you're aware, with every passing month and year, many people will compare how the two largest aircraft manufacturers are going, not just to compare and contrast their performances each other, but also to see how they're stacking up with their end-of-year goals. And for Airbus, they delivered 54 aircraft to customers, almost double of Boeing. And even as a result of their poor start to 2023, they now overtake competitor Boeing. Airbus noted that it has seen 144 net orders this calendar year, adding only 5 from undisclosed customers for the month just gone. Deliveries for April at the European plane maker included 6 A220s, 17 of the 320neos, 24 A321neos, 1 lone A319neo, 2 A330-900s, and finally 4 of the A350-900s. Despite a poorer than expected first quarter of 2023 regarding deliveries, the manufacturer is still targeting 720 commercial aircraft deliveries. Based on their current figures as of the end of April, and let's say the company delivered 54 aircraft for every month remaining in this year, they'd be at 613, which is obviously more than 100 shy of the 720. The company hopes to reach the delivery goals outlined after 2022's late push all but saw them fall short of expectations. As a result, you could argue that the targets outlined for this year have a really increased importance, as it would be fantastic for the company to be able to achieve this. Something I want to start including in maybe these long-form videos, if it's something you're interested in to break up at the halfway point, is a couple story of the days, where I just read the headlines for you and don't go too much into the topic. The first one being Norse Atlantic Airways has made changes to their transatlantic network. The carrier will fly to more warm weather destinations this upcoming winter season in a shift of business model, if you will, to try and find ways to maximize revenue. As a result of this and those new services to the likes of Thailand and the Caribbean, from this year as well, they'll cease transatlantic operations out of Berlin, their sole route being the service to New York JFK. Next, we have Air Baltic, set to fly 11 new routes this winter, who are expecting it to be an incredibly important period for them right off the back of summer demand. On to our next relatively big story for the day, and that's related to Air Canada, who published their first quarter financials for 2023. The airline did report record first quarter passenger revenues, which stood at 4.088 billion Canadian dollar. More than double what they recorded in the first quarter a year prior. Air Canada says this was made possible thanks to the industry's continued recovery, and therefore they saw a 53% increase in capacity operated. Notably, however, the airline still reported an operating loss of 17 million, inching closer and closer to operating profits, but clearly not right there. The thing is though, while you could take a look and say that the 17 million loss is not great, when actually comparing it to 2022's first quarter performance, well, the difference is quite staggering. For that same period, 1 year prior, the airline reported 550 million in losses. So between 17 and 550, the improvements are very much evident. The performance in 2022, you could argue, was certainly not aided by the winter lockdown and continued restrictions that hit multiple provinces in Canada and very largely the world, so therefore Air Canada's global route network. With capacity doubling at the airline, they said also fuel prices increased to over 1.3 billion. Meanwhile, the airline said its net profit was at 4 million for the quarter. But again, this is another staggering improvement from last year, where they posted close to 1 billion in net losses. Air Canada Cargo also saw an increase in its aircraft available in the past year, with, as of March 31st, 2023, 6 of the 767 freighters operational. 1 year prior, this stood at just 1. China Airlines is our last story of today's aviation news recap, with the airline announcing its intent to acquire a further 8 of the Boeing 787 Dreamliners as part of its overall fleet growth and overhaul program. The announcement comes off the back of their pre-existing contract signed last year and now includes up to 24 of the type. China Airlines notes that deliveries should begin for this new batch from 2026, with them expecting their first 787-9 to arrive in 2025. Now, just 2 years away. Shocking to think that point will already be halfway through this decade. Sustainability is at the forefront of the airline's plans, and as such, introducing the Boeing 787 as an option for long-haul travel will, in their opinion, genuinely boost these efforts. The Boeing 787s do come with excellent efficiency. Paired with low operating costs, it means China Airlines will utilize the aircraft over the next 6 years to expand to new destinations globally, before once they are all delivered, they'll truly set in for the decades to come and be a household name for the airline. The 787-9s, while being purchased, yes, to expand their network, will also work hand in hand with the replacement of their existing A330-300s. A sad sight to see more iconic jets depart, but that is the way the aviation industry works as new technology continues to come in. If you have any thoughts on any of the stories covered in this long-form aviation news video, you can let me know down below in the comments. And if you'd like to see more of these in-depth videos, let me know too, and I'd be more than happy to maybe spread the uploads out a little bit more and continue with this form. Enjoy what is left of your weekend, take care, and I'll see you next time.
And we'll fly.